Hey, welcome. This is the 2025 Goblin Optimist Regatta competitor meeting, the virtual one. We're going to post this obviously to our website and to the notice board, and also do one in person on Saturday morning. But this is an opportunity to know what's happening before you get here, which is really important this weekend because we have a very busy weekend ahead of us. So I'm going to get into it right away. I'm showing you our Goblin Regatta website. So sbyc.org/goblin-optimist-regatta. If you come here and scroll down, you'll see obviously where this online competitor briefing is going to be posted. And you can kind of see all the links on the notice board here. And this is the official notice board. There's obviously links posted on ClubSpot as well, but we're using this as the official notice board. And this is where you can kind of find all the documents. And I'm going to start off right away with pointing out that a couple of amendments to the notice of race have been posted. So the first amendment that was posted is that we capped Green Fleet entries at 70 competitors. I didn't think to put a cap on Green Fleet entries until we started getting near 70, and I went, oh my gosh, that's a really big Green Fleet. Fortunately, a couple of competitors moved over to Champ, so we're at 66 Green Fleet competitors now and 68 in Champ. But anyway, there is 4 spots for Green Fleeters if they want to sign up still, but we're capping it at 70. And then, of course, we had to change the racing area, attachment B, which I will now show you which one that is. We amended that to move the Green Fleet outside the harbor. So normally we're racing in here in this tiny little area, but we've really never raced there with more than 50 boats. And with nearly 70, we felt like it was appropriate to go out here. We have gotten additional resources. Lots of members are coming out with their dinghies to kind of be towboats and safety boats so that we have a good amount of support boats out there in addition to the coaches and the mark sets. And on top of that, we're really lucky because the moorings have all been moved out for the season. So this is all kind of open water over here, and that will give them a nice area. And if it gets, a little breezy or anything, we can kind of tuck them underneath the wharf and it'll be just fine. So that is the new amended course chart, or sorry, racing area. We also posted this notice of race amendment, which changed the times, and you'll understand why in a minute as I go through all the many things going on in Santa Barbara this weekend. The check-in was originally supposed to be at 9:45 opening. We've moved it to 9 a.m. check-in, and then check-in was supposed to close at 10:20, and it is now closing at 10 o'clock. The competitor meeting was moved up from 10:30 to 10:15. Everything else basically stayed the same, except for we gave a hard start time to the dinner line opening at the Santa Barbara Yacht Club at 1700. So that's the main things that changed there. We also extended the last race, no warning signal after this time. So the last time we can start a race to 4 o'clock on Sunday. That's 30 minutes after. And finally, we added in that Green Fleet's going to race as many races as they can. They're going to sail as many races as possible. And that Champ Fleet is going to shoot for 7 races with no more than 4 on one day. It was 8. It seemed unrealistic. So we just decided to be realistic about what we're shooting for. So we're going for 7. Those are the amendments. They are also detailed in the sailing instructions, which have now been posted. So all of that is here. And you can kind of go through this. But we'll get to that in a second. The most kind of important things to talk about, or the first thing, the important thing to talk about, is where do you go when you get to Santa Barbara? Well, we have this attachment A onshore staging, okay? And you can see this is kind of like a launch ramp here. You can see where we're allowed to launch, etc. And we'll get into that in a second. You can see where we can park our boats and dollies and where Regatta headquarters are going to be. But the question is, where is this? This is actually not that close to the Santa Barbara Yacht Club. So I'm going to kind of give you a heads up of where you're coming. Here's the 101s. You're either, coming off and getting off at Castillo here and then coming down Shoreline Drive, or you're coming from this way here along West Cabrillo Boulevard. Okay, and it turns into Shoreline Drive here. And what's going to happen is You're going to go into Harbor Way here. And if you were going to the yacht club, you'd go straight over here, but you're not going to go to the yacht club. There's no parking for guests and there's no activities, no parking of the boats over there. That's not where we launch. That's where dinner will be. But other than that, we're not going to be at the yacht club. So you're going to go and take your first left-hand turn. And you can see there is a little gatehouse here. You can get your parking ticket for the day. This is a public launch ramp area, public parking. And you can get your ticket for the day. I think it's $10 per day for a trailer, maybe $20 all day for the car. And then it's, fractional from there. And you can drive all the way down, following the harbor on your right-hand side until you get here. There's sometimes this a little automatic gate that opens up, but you keep going. And here we're finally reaching the launch ramp that we saw in attachment A. So this is the launch ramp. So once you're here, then you got to remember that white stalls are for cars only. And you can kind of see that. And yellow stalls are for boats and trailers and cars attached to trailers. So like this guy right here, well, he's in a handicap spot, so he might get a double whammy. But these guys here could theoretically get tickets. It's important to understand it is a public launch ramp area, so I don't control who gets tickets. All I get to do is tell you where you can and cannot park. There's some white stalls along here for cars, and then lots along here. But this is the catch. The reason that we moved everything up, and the reason we moved everything up is that we have something called Harbor Fest happening on October 18th. And this is the same as last year. We had it happen on the same day. It's from 10 to 5. And there will be a whole bunch of seafood vendors and all around in this area right here. Okay, so it's like bands are going to be playing and, the yacht club serving up lobster rolls. And if you want to find out more about that, I think you can go to harborfestival.org. I'm correct. Let me just double check that for you. Yeah, I think it is harborfestival.org will take you to this site here. And it kind of gives you information about what's going to be there, the food vendors, non-food vendors, and the things that they're going to let you do. There's some harbor boat rides and sailing lessons for free, believe it or not. So it could be kind of a lot of people trying to do that. But it's very popular. And the yacht club will, of course, be there serving lobster rolls. As well as having food service open at the yacht. So that's going on, but it gets really busy and parking is going to start to fill up at 10 to 10:30, 11. It's going to get real busy in this lot. So I wanted to tell you that please get here for that 9 o'clock check-in. If you guys are parking between 8 and 9, you're going to get all the good spots and park wherever you want. And once you get a parking spot, do not give it up till 5 o'clock or 4:30. Like at 4:30, it's going to be cleared out from Harbor Fest, but I would not give it up as it will be very, very busy in the harbor that day. And they have impacted lot parking over at City College. So long story short, once you park your car, you're going to want to keep that spot or you're going to want to walk from your hotel. That's an option. Okay. So back here to this, when you get there, you can go ahead and get your trailers and your boats unloaded in these yellow stalls. If necessary, we can creep over into these other ones. These are reserved for us, but I can't guarantee that somebody, a fisherman doesn't park there or something. So again, getting there early helps because you can kind of claim the stalls and they're yours. We cannot have boats rigging in the driveways or people standing in the driveways too much. And so when you're conversing and having a conversation with your sailors, please take it to the sidewalk. There's tons of sidewalks here. You can, be in the yellow areas, or you can go over to the beach. There's a lot of beach over here. So it's a little bit of a different, but we're going to have our Regatta headquarters over on the beach. So hopefully we're encouraging people to come away from the driveways so that you can have that happen. Let's see. So trash cans is really important that the students do not, or sailors do not drop trash just anywhere. There's trash cans kind of all over the place. in this harbor lot area. So really, really critical that we're not leaving trash on the ground. And then bathrooms are located at a building that's just over here and one that's just over here. They're public bathrooms, generally speaking, pretty clean, and that shouldn't be a problem. So there's some restrooms there, and of course at the yacht club too. But as a reminder, we're over here. This is our central location for regatta operations. And the yacht club is about a 5-minute walk. It's a 5-minute walk over here to the Santa Barbara Yacht Club. So, all right, back to the next thing in line. So when you guys get here, we're going to have this set up over here. You can kind of set your boats over here. 9 o'clock, check-in's going to open. That's new. And you can go ahead and check in at the table where we're going to have a line for Green Fleet and a line for Champ Fleet. We're going to confirm your sale numbers and your fleet and division. And once you're approved to move on, you can go get your shirt and your dinner ticket and some sailing instructions. And remember, Green Fleet and Champ Fleet, you guys have different course charts. So make sure you grab the right course chart. They're very similar, but slightly different. And then, of course, get your lunch snack pack. So that'll all kind of happen at Regatta headquarters, and we can direct you there. Additionally, for those Champ Fleeters who haven't signed up and registered for the Carry Series, there will be another table set up with Zach Tinker, and he can get you all set up. Make sure you register for the Carry Series. If you're a Champ Fleeter, Green Fleeters don't need to do that. There will be a third line, there's going to be a lot of lines, for parents who pre-ordered dinner tickets. So if you pre-ordered dinner tickets, your dinner ticket's special because it includes a free drink ticket. And for those who didn't, don't worry, there's going to be dinner tickets for sale at dinner for $20 inclusive. I'll go into that in a minute, but you can pick up your dinner ticket. Parents, we're not going to hand them to your kids. So if you ordered extra dinner tickets for online, please come over, as well as extra adult shirts. Okay, so any extra shirts will be given out in like sort of this extra dinner ticket and extra shirt line. Okay, as far as launching boats goes, we're going to launch from these eastmost ramps. This is an actually outdated picture. There's a little dinghy ramp here too. And so there will be like, hopefully enough space to launch. We're going to communicate who's launching first, Champ or Green, at the competitor briefing in person. But please, as you launch, remember to launch from those eastmost and not over here, so we can leave them open for fishing vessels and other commercial and recreational traffic. The launch ramp can be slippery when it's low tide. I'll remind you guys of that at the competitor briefing, but be aware of that. And the dollies must be returned back to these yellow areas over here. So coaches, parents from all the clubs, you may want to start talking about, possibly, developing some sort of tag system for your dollies. So they're kind of all in one location for your yacht club. We don't have a tagging system or anything like that in place. So you're kind of responsible for your own dollies. Do not leave them at the launch ramp. Do not leave them at the launch ramp. We'll have somebody checking as boats launch for bailers, bow lines, life jackets, and whistle. And those are in the sailing instructions as actually penalized infractions. And then also, we're going to check for mast tie downs or a mast strap so that the mast doesn't come out of the mast step. But that one's not a penalty, but we should have one. That should be a mandatory thing. There's a sign in online. So you're going to check in at the Regatta headquarters, and then I'm going to have you sign in online too. And when you sign in online, what you're telling me, it's a lot more for Sunday these days, but I left it in there, is you're telling me, hey, we're going out and we're confirming our sale number again. But on Sunday in particular, we don't have a check-in, right? So we're not going to have somebody sitting there. So the way you can change your sale number on Sunday, let's say you rip your sale on Saturday, or there's, in Green Fleet, there's like 4 sale number ones. Then you need to change your sale number on Sunday and say it was too confusing or whatever. Then you can do that on that sign-in registration online. So that is right here, this daily online sign-in. It's very straightforward. Coaches, feel free to sign in your sailors. It does not need to be done by the sailor. We just need to know if they're going out. If they're not signed in to go out, then that's kind of a red flashing light for us about, if we don't know that they're out there necessarily. We are going to be checking them in at the launch ramp as they leave So we'll kind of check in and we'll cross-reference that, but we kind of have multiple checks, right? So that's how that's going to work. And when they come back to the launch ramp, we'll check them back in. There are hoses over here that will have a volunteer with quarters, pumping quarters in there so the students can quickly rinse off their boats and then go de-rig back here in this back row or over here or wherever they're keeping the boats for the night. Coach boats can be stored at the Santa Barbara Yacht Club NTID. So here's our launch ramp. Okay, so we're launching out of here and going out here to the race, Pacific Ocean for the race areas. But for coach boats, when you come in, we really want to make sure that you're kind of following the fleet in, make sure everybody gets in. Our support boats will do the same. But if you want a place to not haul your boat out for the night, it's NTID, okay, which again is just down the way from the Santa Barbara Yacht Club, but it's kind of a little bit of a hike back to the launch ramp, about 5, maybe 7-minute walk at most. But you can keep your boats in the water there and free of charge, and that's what we have available to us. Let's see here, what else do I have for you guys? All right, so the dinner is going to take place at the Santa Barbara Yacht Club, and as mentioned before, that's the launch ramp. The yacht club's over here, so from a Google Maps perspective, we're here. I recommend just leaving your car parked and walking on over. And the Santa Barbara Yacht Club is right here. Okay, we're gonna have tables and a band set up over here, and so it kind of be like a beach party. We have a palapa bar right here, you can see. So that's where you can get your drinks for the adults. And then we'll have on the lower deck, you can't see it because it's covered, a buffet line for the kids, and that's going to be including, it's got like a hamburger or chicken tenders. And then it's got salad, fruit, corn on the cob, potato salad, and cookies. And that is included with every entry fee. They get one. And then if you have an extra kid that you want to buy a ticket for or did online, the extra tickets for kids that are 12 and under will be $15. Extra kid tickets for adults are $20 inclusive. That means sales and tip and all that stuff's included in the $20. And that's good for salmon, a burger, or a chicken, grilled chicken breast. And that is going to be grilled. So this is kind of like our Wet Wednesday style. So there's these grills that are going to be going, and we'll have a guy down there. It's happy to grill it for you. If you're like, hey, grill my salmon, I don't really know how to do that, or I don't really want to. He can do it. Or if you're kind of impatient, you say, I'm happy to grill my own salmon. They're going to give you the salmon. You're going to go grill it right there, fresh, and then you go through the buffet line for the rest of the side items. And then, of course, if you got a pre-sale ticket for dinner as an adult, then you can go to the Palapa Bar and get yourself a Green Goblin margarita or a glass of wine or a beer, and we'll be at the Palapa Bar. So that'll be really fun. And if you didn't purchase a ticket, no worries. We're ready for some extra people to come over. And I think it should be really nice. Looks like it's going to be 77 degrees that night or that day. So it should be a nice day to be out on the beach after racing. For spectator areas, this kind of goes back to where are we racing this whole thing? And we're going to be racing at Champ Fleet, most likely here. Okay, like we might go over here if it's from the southeast, but most likely here. If we're in Champ Fleet Racing Area 1, then the Santa Barbara Yacht Club is going to be right there, right? We're going to be able to see it right off the Santa Barbara Yacht Club. The downstairs of the Santa Barbara Yacht Club will be available for you. There's no you can just, there's a fleet room. You can even go get some Harbor Fest food, eat it down there, or bring something from the outside. But if you're going to go upstairs, that's reserved for dining patrons, and you can. You're going to check in, say, hey, we're with the Goblin Regatta. My son or daughter's name is this. And then you can, proceed upstairs to see if they've got space for you. Given the busyness of the weekend, it's possible that there might be some wait times for dining upstairs, but remains to be seen. A lot of people might just go out and get Harbor Fest seafood. So who really knows? And you're obviously welcome to dine there. Credit cards only are accepted for guests. And if you're downstairs, you say, look, I just want to get a drink from the bar and bring it downstairs. You can go upstairs to the bar, grab a drink, bring it downstairs, and, eat a lobster roll or fresh uni or whatever you want to grab from the Harbor Fest or any of the local vendors nearby. Okay. There is a notice board online. This is it for online protests and hearings. This is where you'll find the hearing order, and all that will be posted here. This will automatically populate when they fill out a protest form. So here's the protest form. They fill it out, auto populates here, and then I type in where we're meeting and when. And what order it's in, right? So that'll be what that is. That's all on the notice board here. On Sunday we'll have a costume contest, and it can be boats and sailors, or just sailors. Either way, it's fine. And that's all going to happen over here, kind of near Regatta headquarters. So you'll wheel your boats, decorate your boat up, bring it over here. The only rule we really have for this is none of the decorations that can fall off the boat and go into the ocean should go on the ocean. Okay, so once the thing's over, take the decorations off if they're going to fall off. If they're like kind of permanently on there, that's different. But you get the idea. We just don't want that to go in the ocean. Other than that, I think I've nailed it all. One question I'm sure is going to come up is why are we not sailing Green Fleet in here? If I didn't say it already, just with the size of the fleet, it's really too tight. And the secondary thing is that we've had a lot of sand come into the harbor. So it's so shallow that we would have trouble even if there was only 50 boats this year to do it in the harbor. So we are out here. All these little boats that are right here are not there. I don't know if those are moored boats or what those are, but it's all clear right here. And this is a great spot for Green Fleet. So, spectating for Green Fleet. You can do that right off of Stearns Wharf. There's deep sea tasting rooms, one of my personal favorite places to hang out. And they have an unobstructed view to the east here. So, I mean, that could be a really fun place to watch some Green Fleet racing. Of course, there's other places along here too, or you can just stand and watch. But again, if you do go over there, well, there is parking on Stearns Wharf. I highly recommend you just leave your car parked here, because once you leave that spot, you're not going to get it back till 4:30 or 5. And one other thing I want to tell you about is that we have a big parade/protest going on Saturday, and that's going to be walking over downtown area. That's all starting at, let's see, it's the No Kings from 10:30 to 12. Okay, and so that will be another reason to get here for that 9 o'clock check-in time, and that's why we moved it up. I think that's all I've got for you guys. What we'll be doing here is having an in-person meeting too, but hopefully you got the vibe for where you're supposed to go and park, and also when to be there. And if you have any questions, you certainly can email me at racing@sbyc.org. And also, I'd like to do just a quick thanks to my wife who's chairing this thing. And so we're officially both roped into this. But also the Santa Barbara Yacht Club, of course, who's just amazingly supportive and great. And the Santa Barbara Youth Sailing Foundation, thank you so much to them. Super stoked to be putting this on. One last thing is that there's a lot of boats missing sail numbers in the entry. And if you want, you could email me your sail number once you know it to racing@sbyc.org. And then I can update it for you before Saturday. That will save us a lot of time at check-in, because I'm going to sit there, I'm going to update in the system. Okay, updated. Now you can go. Or I'm going to say, is this your sale number? And they're going to go, yes. And then I'm going to go, good, go get your shirt. And it's going to happen a lot faster for them. So please, coaches and parents, tell your coaches to email me the sale numbers for all the students, in particular green. I think we got about 40 missing sale numbers. So I think that's all I got for you guys. Looking forward to a great weekend. It looks like a beautiful, sunny weekend. And hopefully we'll get a lot of great racing in and have a great time. So again, dinner Saturday night afterwards at the Yacht Club, Sunday morning costume contest at the Lawn Tram. Should be a great time, everybody. Drive safe and hit us up with questions. Thanks.